Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys. Monday, April 7th, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and Perlo is back on a Monday, ready to break down this Monday NHL card. We've got 5 games on tap here on this Monday. We'll get, obviously, to those in just a moment. We'll recap Sunday first. Special thanks again to Jimmy the Bag joining us on the Sunday show yesterday. His debut as a guest was great to have him on the show. And, of course, you can catch me with Jimmy every Thursday over on Pub Sports Radio at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, talking the NHL card with him on his show, Betting with the Bag. So make sure you check that out on Thursdays. As far as yesterday goes, what a day for hockey. What a day for sports. Never mind hockey. Sports, it was a great day because history was made, and history was made as we were still on the air with our Sunday edition of the Ice Guys show. We were still going through the show when Alex Ovechkin decided, I'm not waiting around anymore. I'm getting it done now. And he rips home a patented Alex Ovechkin one-timer on the power play to give him .895 and the record as the best goal scorer, the top goal scorer in NHL history, surpassing the great one. The great 8 passes the great one as the leading goal scorer in NHL history. Look, just a memorable moment. You're never going to forget where you were when you saw this. And I'm sure people thought the same thing when Wayne Gretzky broke Gordie Howe's record in 1994. This is going to be a special moment. I'll always remember where I was and who I was with and how I was watching it when it happened. And I'll never forget, hey, I was doing a damn show when the damn moment happened as well with me, Alex, and Jimmy yesterday on the show. And look, I found it cool and funny at the same time that Ovechkin scores the goal. Obviously, the team celebrates and they, surround Ovechkin and crowds on their feet, standing ovation for a few minutes. But then, like a red carpet ceremony just broke out in the middle of an NHL game. It's just hilarious. Just all of a sudden, whoop! Stop the game. Roll out the carpet. Here comes Ovi's family, Gretzky, Bettman, the whole crew to center ice, and just right in the middle of the game, just have the little moment there to recognize Alex Ovechkin on this incredible accomplishment, becoming the best goal scorer in NHL history. And of course, he spoke, and Wayne Gretzky said a few words. Bettman said a few words. The family was there on the ice. They posed for some pictures, now, obviously at center ice there. And then all of a sudden, they cleaned it all up, and back we go playing the rest of the game. It was just not going to see that every day. And that's another thing that makes a moment like that special. It's not every day you're going to see just a full-blown red carpet, almost like a black tie ceremony there all of a sudden start right in the middle of the hockey game. But, that was pretty crazy. Yeah, Russell, that's a great point. Ovechkin thanking Ilya Sorokin for finally letting him score one against him, because that was also the first goal that Alex Ovechkin's ever scored on Ilya Sorokin. And, of course, it ended up being the goal that broke the record. Just phenomenal stuff from a betting standpoint. It treated me, we lost the full game over. That's the only thing I can bitch about with that game, as it ended up 4-1 Islanders. But we hit the first period over. Alex made a great bet with the Ovechkin goal, just to score a goal during the game, plus Islanders team total over 1.5, which was really, really good at plus money. And then we mentioned this on the show right before we got off the air, and right as the ceremony was going, hit that Islanders next goal. Bet that thing. Bet that sucker, because this is just a perfect, strong, positive expectation betting opportunity. Who's going to have the emotional fall off and let down after a moment like that? And Ovechkin breaking the record. Washington, of course. And sure enough, not more than 5 minutes after the show ended yesterday, there's the Islanders getting that next goal after the game was restarted after the ceremony to make it 3-1. So there's pretty much as easy as it gets. You couldn't have gotten, and it was a plus price too, everywhere. Plus 110, even plus 120 in some spots for that Islanders next goal. Just a great situational bet. A lot of us got in on that. So just a great game, great moment for hockey, great moment for sports. And Before we get into the rest of the games, we'll start there with thoughts from Alex and Perlo just on Alex Ovechkin becoming the leading goal scorer in NHL history.
Yeah, it's just a fantastic moment, like you said, not just as a hockey fan, but as a sports fan, to be able to witness moments like that. Like I remember, watching when Barry Bonds, he got the home run record. I remember Emmitt Smith breaking Walter Payton's all-time rushing record. Those moments, you remember those, for years and years to come. And this will certainly be one of them. I'm grateful that I was on with you and with all the of the family to watch this moment in hockey history. It was fantastic. And I do want to make a correction on what I said yesterday, because this stat is just insane. 245 goals Ovechkin scored from the time he was 20 to the time he was 24. 213 goals that he scored from 35 to now at 39. Just showed the arc of his career, and to see how everything was done. And I said it on Friday when he tied the record, but it echoes repeating from yesterday. The NHL has done a tremendous job with how they did the entire presentation. Even like you said, stopping the game and having everybody run down and get everybody on the ice, and then to get everybody off the ice and get back to the game. It was A1. And we don't say that often about the league. Like I said, they
Now
bungled
quickly and efficiently they went
regular.
from the game to the ceremony back to the game again.
It was perfect. Everyone's speeches was great. Bettman, Gretzky, everybody, Ovechkin. It was fantastic to have something like that, because that's the thing we said on the show breaking down the game, right? We're like, we don't like this game from a betting standpoint because we don't know what the hell's going to happen if Ovechkin scores, and then you have the break. How long is the break? What all is that going to entail? And then getting back to the game, and then looking at the situation in hand where this game means jack all nothing other than the record to Washington, and it means everything. The Islanders trying to get into the playoffs. That's why that spot was a slam dunk of betting next goal Islanders after all of the ceremony had cleared. And sure enough, the Islanders took care of business and went on. Got 2 points in an important win in that game. But like I said, that was only important to the people in Long Island. For everybody else in the hockey world, it was all about Ovechkin, and it was a great moment. And like I said, it's been really fun to watch. Whether you may not be a Capitals fan, I don't really give a shit about the Capitals personally, but it's been fun watching this journey and to see it finally culminate now with, like I said, the greatest goal scorer in NHL history, and to get to see this in this moment, it was fantastic.
Yes, it certainly was. There's no question. And I want to shout out a friend of the show. He was actually the person that we reached out to and we tabbed to be the Washington Capitals team preview guest before the season. Way back in September, we did all those team preview videos, and we got guests, many different guests helping us out. We had Jason Williams and Danny DeKaiser for Detroit. We had Jason Demers joining us for a couple of those. Go on down the list. We had, of course, Dana Lane joined us for a few. We had just tons of people that we ended up having. And by the way, I'm reaching out to Dana for the playoffs. We're going to get Dana on for some playoff shows coming up as well, moving forward. But one of the people that we reached out to, and he was with us for the Capitals preview, was Nikita Kashersky. And he did a great job with us on the Capitals season preview video. He was in attendance yesterday for that game at UBS Arena. So he got a chance to see history in person and live. So I'm sure a great thrill for him. Not to mention, of course, he's Russian too, just like Ovi. So I'm sure that was a great thrill as well. So just cool stuff for a friend of the show there, Nikita Kashersky, getting that opportunity to be there in the arena for that great magical moment for Alex Ovechkin yesterday. Perlo, how did you your initial thoughts and reactions to seeing history unfold?
It's just amazing to watch a guy like that has scored the way he has. You kind of forget just how amazing of a goal scorer he is. I've had people talk about like the Wayne Gretzky, and I listened to Wayne Gretzky himself, and I agree with Wayne when he said, if Ovi played in my time, this record would have been gone a long time ago. Gretzky said that himself. He's just the accuracy of that shot, and the way and the fact that he scored it in so many ways. Like he got the patented way he scored in which he did, which I thought was apropos. In fact, I had him to score on a power play yesterday because the Islanders have the worst penalty kill in the league. So I figured if there was a place where he was going to do it, it was probably going to be on the power play. Not only that, I have a gut feeling Patrick Waugh hated that. Hated. Being an ex-goaltender, he did not want that to happen in his building. I think I thought they would be all over him like stink on poop, but they weren't going to be able to do that on the power play. So, and I think it's great that he did it the classic way. It's the Owie way. It just, everything was perfect about him scoring that goal. I tailed you guys on that Islanders to score the next goal. That was a great play, but I also live bet the under after that. As soon as I saw the ceremony and everything, and I know you guys are on the over on that one, but I was like, there's not going to be scoring after this. There's no way. You're starting all over again. And it was unfortunate to me, actually, that the Islanders were up, because I would have liked to bet the Islanders after that as well. I wonder, I was going to ask you about that. How much, they didn't really make any stink about it, and obviously they had the ceremony prepared, but it's a little unsettling as an Islanders fan, and maybe the Islanders that are still thinking that they can make the playoffs, that you're having a ceremony in the middle of a game that is still that important to you. Did you hear anything about people being dissatisfied with that? Like, I don't know about fans, but like, players aren't going to say anything, but do you find that kind of odd? Do you think that maybe it was not right to do that, even though it was so awesome that they did?
That's interesting. Yeah, I actually hadn't thought of that. But you know, it's interesting that it went down that way. But like I said, not a big deal to me. Not honestly.
A big deal to me. I don't think it's a big deal to me, mostly because I'm not an Islanders fan. If I wasn't,
and here's the thing too. This is such a big deal. And we've known about this for well over a season. So I'm sure the league has been prompted all the way back in October how they would handle this situation. Keep in mind, this happened late in the year because of Ovechkin with the injury. If Ovechkin kept that pace and didn't miss those games with the leg injury, this probably happens, a month ago. So So that, but I'm sure there were prompts and things, and I'm sure there's a whole different setup too. That was the other reason why I mentioned it on Friday, where I was like, after he got 2, I was thinking maybe he would go for the empty net and the hat trick, because there had to be a whole different trigger set of ceremonies and different things had he accomplished a record at home as opposed to on the road.
Yeah, so all the players would have known this was happening. I mean, this was something that had to
absolutely.
be prepared and everything like that. So in some ways, it worked out best for them, because it was a really bad chance that Washington was going to come back after that ceremony. Right. So they actually end up getting the win anyways, and that's good for them. But yeah, it's a moment you're always going to remember. If you can get anything, any kind of relics or anything from that, and man, those people that were at the game, that's awesome for you. That would have been absolutely amazing to be at that game and experience that, because
our guy Jersey was one of those, and I'm sure he loved it. I'm sure he enjoyed every minute. Yep.
What I love about Obi more than anything, and I'll always remember him, is how classy, like what he did with Fleury after the game and stuff like that. And that's what I love about him, even more of his goal than his goal scoring. The guy loves the game, appreciates the game, and he's been amazing for the game his whole career. He's just awesome. I just love him.
Great character too, and loves his beer. How can you not love him? There you go.
Beer and vodka. Beer and vodka is drinks. Yeah.
We got to get him to step up from the light beer shit, but that's another story.
I was just gonna say, I don't think Obi's a light beer guy.
It's good for your health and keeping the calories down, but like I said, it's too watered down for my liking.
As I said, hopefully they threw the bag at him. If that was what he's drinking after setting the record, that should have been should be maybe an ad deal coming.
Yeah, and it looked like the party was in full force last night too. I saw for family, friends, former teammates of Ovechkin. They were all invited. I think Carl Alsner was at that, honestly, last night as well. So another former person on the show back in the day. But like, great day, great moment, and certainly a great experience taking that all in, no doubt.
They don't play again until Thursday. At home
So be
against
careful with
Carolina.
fading them thinking it's Ovechkin hangover spot. He's going to have some days to shake this off now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder
Yeah.
if they can turn around and start getting serious here right now. That's a very interesting thing.
I think Spencer Carberry does want to see them string some better performances together before the
Yeah,
playoffs
sure.
start. Because
I also want to shout out
happy
Rico,
with
who
the
had
recent form.
Sorokin to allow the goal this year. He took it at plus.
Oh, yeah.
7.
That's right. He hit that weeks ago, didn't he?
Yeah.
Great.
So that was
Great
pretty cool.
No doubt. So that was just a great way to start the day. Minnesota coming back to beat Dallas 3-2. We did cash the draw, but a tough loss for Dallas. They had an early 1-0 lead, but Minnesota had a really strong third period. Bad penalty taken by Jason Robertson in overtime, and then Minnesota was able to capitalize with a overtime win there. Ottawa 4-0. They blanked the Jackets, and the Jackets do indeed look like a team running on fumes. No question about that. And I can't figure out Dean Evison. He must have some kind of special peace in his heart. He loves him some Elvis Merzlikins. How do you justify not pulling this guy once this season when he stunk the joint up in games? Tarasov gives up 2 goals quick, and you yank him. You pull him right away. And it's the first time all season Evason's pulled the goalie in a game.
Wow.
He clearly has favoritism going on right here to Elvis Merzlikins. There's no doubt. That's ridiculous to me. That is not fair to Tarasov. That's not treating your goaltenders equal. It doesn't matter what the situation or who the guy is. If you're going to go all season not pulling your goalie for bad starts or a bad performance, and then all of a sudden Tarasov gets in there, gives up too quickly, and you're pulling him at the first sight of trouble, that's not consistent. That's favoritism, in my opinion, to one guy over the other. Not a good
Unless he's watching the show and maybe we're the ones who to tip him off realizing he hadn't pulled anybody all year. I mean, that is quite odd. Of all the guys that you would look to maybe pull and shake things up with, you'd think it would be in reverse because Merzlikins has been the guy who's needed the rest. Tarasov's the young guy who's been sitting of late. I mean,
and Merzlikins didn't play great against Toronto and hasn't played well lately. And he played the night before, and you can't wait to get Tarasov out of the net and put Elvis in there yesterday. Absurd to me. Crazy.
The only thing I can think of is like Merzlikins is struggling with belief in himself, and there's some sort of psychological way to say that he's trying to instill belief in him. But how are you doing that when he's getting shelled and you leave him in there so long that he gets so mad that he pulls himself? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. That was crazy.
We're about to head into the third summer where, and I don't know if you still agree with me, Ian, where Elvis Merzlikins needs a change of scenery.
He does.
We've been saying this for 3 years.
It's finally
it's long overdue.
Yeah, it's finally time. It's not going to work for him long term in Columbus. It may not work for him anywhere. Maybe he's not getting his game back to a level that he can be a consistent number.
I hope that's not the case. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If he stays there, he's going to run out of time. But if he goes somewhere else, he can. I think he can still research his career. He's in his late 20s, early 30s. He's not that old yet. So he's got some good years ahead of him. So he just needs to get the hell out of Columbus.
And not to mention, he's had a lot to deal with. Like, we go back again to the Matisse Kivlenieks and that tragedy with the fireworks, and he was right there to see it happen. That's traumatic shit. And there's no doubt that's played on his mind too, and not helped him as far as getting his mind right and his game to where it needs to be. So, yeah, and get away from the cannons. Like I said, PTSD, that damn thing, we've said this a bunch. I'll say it one last time. That damn cannon shooting off every time in Columbus. It's PTSD for the guy probably thinking of that tragedy. Can't be good for him. 100%, no doubt. But again, Columbus, it's pretty much donezo for them now. Still a heck of a season, considering all they've gone through and the loss of Johnny Gaudreau in the offseason. And, hey, they got the team into April playing meaningful hockey. That hasn't happened in some time for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So I know they won't be making the playoffs, but like I said, this is still a step in the right direction for this organization. There's no doubt. And they just run out of gas. I think they've run out of physical and emotional gas, in my opinion, here down the stretch. No question. Detroit 2-1 against Florida. That's about as unimpressive a win as you could ask for Detroit, because we found out right before the game, Florida's got everybody out. They were already without Barkov, Kachuk, Ekblad, Kulikov. Then all of a sudden, you hear right before the game, both Sam and Sam, the law firm, Bennett and Reinhardt are out, and Gus Forsling all out sat by Paul Maurice yesterday. And you think, wow, Detroit's got to get this job done. And they did. But my gosh, it was not great. And they didn't play good in the first period. If not for Talbot in certain instances in that game, it might have been a different outcome. But Detroit finds a way, as ugly as it was, and they get the job done 2-1. I split with that game because I had Red Wings money line, but I also had the team total. Frustrating they couldn't get a third goal. Fucking DeBrincat, man, missing an empty net there in the final minute. It was right there for him, and he puts it off the post. So that was the difference as far as the team total. But Detroit gets the 2-1 win, a game they had to have with Florida sitting everybody to keep their hopes alive, especially with Montreal winning 2-1 against Nashville. Jakub Dobeš does what we wanted, give up the quick early goal. Most of us had a piece in Nashville to score the first goal because of that. That's now 12 of 14 starts for Dobeš giving up the first goal. But Montreal, man, resilient as fuck. We also were true to our word when we said if Montreal goes behind, we'll take them live. Thank goodness I didn't wait longer than the first intermission because Montreal tied it early in the second period. Jumped on, I think Alex did too. Montreal live last night.
That's right.
And they come back and they win 2-1. And Dobeš, for as much as he struggled lately and struggled early in games, man, was he good down the stretch. And late in that game, he was terrific. So shout out to Jakub Dobeš, stepping up, a really good performance and allowing Montreal to get another huge 2 points and one big step closer to cementing their playoff spot with that 2-1 win. And that's what's impressive about Montreal. They showed they could win a close, low-scoring game last night as well. So great job by them. Buffalo 6-3 over Boston. This was a pretty good game overall. Sabres team total over by Fecta. All 3 bets cash for me. Tage Thompson just can't be stopped here. What a night for him. Gets the hat trick for the Buffalo Sabres in that victory. Very impressive stuff. And how about Chicago getting the job done 3-1 against Pittsburgh? I'm still in awe that Spencer Knight's a Blackhawk. I never thought this would happen in a million years just a few months ago. And now here he is, and he's been the reason Chicago's been competitive and been able to win some of these games. He was terrific again last night, especially down the stretch for the Chicago Blackhawks, and a 3-1 win for them there in that game. And then in the late night hours, it was Vegas. Not pretty, but they got the job done against Vancouver 3-2. Vancouver's done. See you later. We'll see what happens with Rick Tocchet in the offseason. Does he extend in Vancouver? Or does he end up going to Philadelphia, which the rumbling is kind of out there that he might go to the Flyers, but we'll wait and see on that. But nevertheless, Vegas, a big win for them to move 5 points ahead. LA's been right on their heels all of a sudden for first in the Pacific, but a little bit of separation gained by Vegas for that win last night, 3-2 over the Vancouver Canucks. Alex, anything you want to add from Sunday?
Yeah, well, so once we get over the initial excitement from the first game with the Ovechkin record, and also we cashed that first period over live in that game as well. Then we get into Minnesota Dallas, which that was a bit unfortunate for me. Did lose with I had a regulation money line pregame with Dallas, and then grabbed plus 375 when they were trailing, and I got next goal to score. So I did make a little bit of money, but then we took it right back on the chin with that Minnesota win. That's a huge win for the Wild, of course. Now it sets up a spot where Calgary damn near has to win out the rest of the way. And it's possible when you look at their schedule starting tonight. They've got one of the 2 games against San Jose, game against Anaheim, and then a head-to-head with Minnesota on Friday. So everything's really tight now, but that's a big win for Minnesota at home, and a game where they didn't really play that great. Still kind of, laboring, going through the motions, but they were able to get timely goals and get that victory. Same thing with Dallas. It's just kind of a weekend where you don't want to take it too hard. 2 games you should have won, but you didn't. But, like I said, this regular season means nothing at this point now. It's all about getting ready for the 19th and beyond. So looking at that, then we go to that game with Ottawa and Columbus. And like I said, it just felt like Columbus was toast. This seemed like a slam dunk Ottawa spot. And, like I said, Columbus, they've had a hell of a year. Their fans should not be bummed out. The players should not be bummed out. This is a team that could have easily, packed it in right from the beginning with all that has gone on with that organization. And they could have tanked this year and maybe only won 20 games. But the fact that they showed up throughout the season, played hard, like I said, we gave us that great game in the Stadium Series. It just been so many great moments and a lot of, especially for us as bettors, we've cashed a lot with Columbus too, but it's just been fun hockey to watch from this team. Something we haven't been able to say in a while. He said meaningful hockey this late in Columbus. We haven't seen it since 2019. So they shouldn't hang their heads, down too low. But like I said, it is the end of the line for them. And then that Hawks game, that was a fantastic spot. Just said, once we heard Knight was confirmed, grab them at plus money because it's just tough to back Pittsburgh on a back-to-back. And Spencer Knight, that team just plays a completely different set of hockey when he's in net. And he made some timely saves yet again. And unfortunately, didn't get the bargain bin there with Moore. Sam Renzel does get on the board, though, his first career point.
Yes.
So the kids are playing hard with the Hawks. Keep that in mind. May not look for wins the rest of the season down the stretch, but player props for the Hawks with these young guys still playing hard. They care, and they want to make an impact, for the future starting now. So that's something that I definitely had noted and circled from yesterday.
You can tell with the smiles on his face, Spencer Knight, he's in a good frame of mind now, which is great to see.
Yes.
Because obviously he had some issues. He's feeling very well. The time away really did help him. There's no doubt. Mentally and emotionally, he's in a good way right now. And I said, if he's mentally and emotionally in a good way, don't forget the uber talent this guy had coming out of college and out of junior as a goaltender. And just how we thought, people touting him to be, one of the great number one goaltenders maybe of the future in the NHL. So, like I said, this might be one of these times where 5-10 years from now, you look back on this, and for Bill Zito, it's one big stinking bogey on this.
Yeah. Was it 5 years ago?
Yeah.
5 years ago with the juniors, where it was Devin Levi and Spencer Knight going against each other, U.S. and Canada, and they were both from the Florida organization. Levi's somewhere in Rochester, and now here's Spencer Knight, number one starter in Chicago.
And Florida scrambling. What happens after Bobrovsky retires now, as far as their
and Cooper Black, they trust.
Yeah. They do. They love him. But like I said, we'll have to wait and see on that. Perlo, is there anything you wanted to mention in the other games for Sunday?
Well, the Stars Wild game, I had the Stars in regulation. It was a terrible spot for the Wild. I really getting a little bit concerned about Dallas here. That's a spot you gotta take. And they get outshot.
I'm not, and Matty Robinson, who's of course the big Stars fan, isn't either. But I don't love what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't. Maybe I'm overstating it. Not really concerned, but there is concern. That is still a division rival and stuff like that. But give it to the Wild. I mean, they, after looking absolutely exhausted against the Islanders, they came in and brought it. So good for them in that one. The Senators Blue Jackets, I couldn't believe when I turned it over there and I saw Merzlikins in that, like we were already talking about. We talked enough about that. That was pretty mind-blowing. The Panthers thing, I wanted to bring this up because, you've heard about Biz and what he said about their tanking because they want to play Toronto. Have you heard about that, I imagine?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe that's what's happening at all. It's two-part. First of all, Florida's been there enough to know that home ice advantage really doesn't matter. If you're not going to win on the road, you're not going to win a cup. No. Second, this is a condensed schedule, and they played a ton of hockey. And I think he's just making sure guys are rested. There's no use killing his guys going into the playoffs. They got a lot of tired guys there. And I think that's pretty much what it is. They're not afraid to play anybody at any time. They're not worried about Tampa. They're not worried about Toronto. They're worried about being healthy. And there's a little more to this than that.
I think it's more that, too, than it's tanking to play the Leafs. I think it's
play Toronto. I don't believe that at all. Actually, it's not a good travel spot to go to Toronto. It's a better travel spot against Tampa Bay. So, I'd rather take the travel spot. But there's a little more to this, though. I kind of get the feeling, looking at Maurice, he's sort of like wink, wink, nudging the league. You know what? You're going to do a tournament like that in the middle of the season. This is what you're going to get. We're not going to go kill ourselves here at the end of the season after we've gone through what we've gone through for 3 playoffs. And not only that, just forget about any team. If you look at teams out there right now, a lot of them look beat. They look really tired. That's why we're seeing unders and stuff like that. And I think he's kind of saying, like, he's sort of giving a message, like, maybe you want to figure out a better way to do this because this is not right. And he's feeling his players going, yeah, I'm not gonna kill them. I'm not gonna do it. So
especially when you've been to the final 2 years in a row. That's a huge piece of this puzzle as well. You don't
that's
want to
pretty
burn
much
them out.
all it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably a good take by Terry there. Terry Ray Vegas. Players don't tamper. They can play with rest and keep health in mind, not play
Right.
hard and put.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of that in Florida.
So that's
And
why
the-
I've
and the-
been. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say the better of the teams know how to navigate that. Where we hear teams often talk about they want to rest and ease into the playoffs, but we see where there's certain teams look back at Tampa Bay and Pittsburgh on their runs, their dynasty runs. They knew how to when to dial it in and when to dial it back at this time of year from a night-to-night basis.
Yeah. Then in the future, and this is what I did yesterday, I took Talbot over saves, and I actually took Allmark over saves in Ottawa because they've been allowing a lot of shots there. But Florida, it's not like they don't want to win, but they're not really going to grind it out. So they're going to take a lot of shots from out far. Hopefully they get lucky, get some tips and stuff like that. That's the way they're going to try to win these games going in. And like you, I'm going to be fading Florida the whole way. But look at overshots for the goalie, whoever the goalie is, because that's pretty much how I think they're going to play. Is a very premier game like that. What was the next? Oh, Buffalo. I had Buffalo everything yesterday. That was my biggest bet. I just like Buffalo in that spot. I bet them when they were down 2, and I just kept on betting them. And I also tailed you on the over in the second period. 2 great over teams. So that was a great game for me, that Buffalo game. And of course, as we know, Buffalo just plays when there's nothing to play for. Bet Buffalo, simple as that. Canadians, Nashville. I was wrong about Nashville, but I wasn't too wrong. They outshot the Canadians 37-17. Unfortunately, they just have no chemistry there, and they can't put it together. They got a lot of young kids playing. The lines aren't playing well together. I took Nashville first period. I got it. I had a little bit on Nashville to win the game, even though I hated it. A spot is a spot is a spot. And maybe I'll feel bad about it. I'm glad you guys won because I wanted the Canadians to win, but I thought that was just a horrible spot. But good for them to find a way to win. And you guys were right about that, about the Canadians, especially you, Ian. They just find ways to win, and they found ways to win against Nashville, and Nashville's a bad team. Canucks, Golden Knights, I had the under. That was my biggest play on that game. And I had a little bit on the draw and a little bit on the Canucks. So it was a tough game to cap, but I didn't think there was going to be a lot of goals. So
there we go. And look, that was 2-1 after the first period. And boy, it died down right after that in that Vegas-Vancouver game, and did stay under with the 3-2 final. All right, let's get into Monday. 5 games. We'll begin with the Tampa Bay Lightning and the New York Rangers. Lightning -150 road favorites. The total here, 5.5 across the board in this one. Tampa Bay 4 points back of Toronto for the division, and a big-time head-to-head matchup with the Leafs coming up on Wednesday night. And they actually catch the Leafs on a back-to-back because Toronto is in Florida against the Panthers tomorrow night, which is actually an ESPN game tomorrow night with the Leafs and Panthers, part of a doubleheader that they have tomorrow. As far as this game goes, no Rangers for me. It's do I want to take Tampa Bay badly enough to lay a price with them on the road? That's what you got to ask yourself. John Massey said it perfectly. Do not trust the Rangers to beat the best teams. They just don't. Edmonton lost, Toronto lost, LA lost, New Jersey lost. All of those teams are playoff bound, and they lost each and every one of those games. So this is just not a Rangers team that I'm interested in backing. Do I want to lay -150 here with Tampa Bay, who are, by the way, coming off back-to-back road losses on this trip and would be staring at a 1-3 road trip if they lose this game here tonight against the Rangers because they've lost back-to-back to Buffalo and Ottawa. We'll see how this one plays out. Vasilevsky and Shesterkin, your goaltenders. We got the old Russian battle in between the pipes here. This is one of those games where if Tampa falls behind, give me Tampa live. I'm not laying a price with them, though, pregame. I do like the draw, though, pregame. I will sprinkle on that. Rangers desperately need the points. With Montreal still winning, they cannot gain ground. They are the one team left that could theoretically catch the Montreal Canadiens. They are the team that's in the closest spot. Detroit as well. They both have 79 points, Rangers and Red Wings, but they're 6 back. The Rangers do still have a game in hand on the Canadiens. But like I said, it's they don't beat good teams. They have not beaten good teams recently. I don't trust them to do that here. I do trust them to battle. I'd like to think they would, considering, their playoff lives are on the line, and Montreal won again last night. And they're still 6 stuck, 6 behind Montreal. But the draw for me makes sense. Tampa needs every point. They're trying, if they want to catch Toronto, and the Rangers do as well. And we know the Rangers are not immune to playing close games. As the New Jersey game aside, where it got away from them, and of course they ended up losing that game 4-0. But it is worth noting that the Rangers, like I said, they have gone to overtime 2 of the last 4 meetings 2 of the last 4 games entering tonight. So it's just a little bit of a draw bet for me. And if I get Tampa at plus money in game, I'll bet it. But I'm not laying this price pregame on them. Alex, what do you think here? Tampa Bay, New York Rangers.
Yeah, this is one where I went with the first period over 1.5. I got minus $1.10 at Caesars. Seeing $1.18, $1.20, anything higher than that, I would wait for live. But it's kind of the same thing you're looking at too. Tampa Bay, if they can give up a goal early, try and grab them at plus money. And then I'm grabbed a little piece of the draw plus 340. This is one where I think it could be a close kind of a game, and it just depends on the Rangers. If the Rangers show up, they can make this one a close battle, and I think draw it in overtime. If this could be maybe a Tampa Bay one-sided affair potentially, because Tampa Bay, while they still do have an outside shot at winning the Atlantic, the important thing is to at least get home ice in that first round. So staying in the number 2 spot is of utmost importance as well, because we talked about it. They've got Florida right behind them at 2 points. They've got Ottawa right behind them with 4 points. And nothing is set in stone in the Atlantic at all right now as far as positioning wise goes. So Tampa still has a little bit to play for. So we'll look first period over 1.5 minus $1.10, and then live target for Tampa at plus money.
All right, so first period over and a live bet target for the Lightning here for Alex in this one. It's been a weird little run here in the series where we have seen 2 overs, but both of them were in Tampa. The last game at Madison Square was 3-1 Rangers. I will say this, Rangers have won 3 straight times at home versus Tampa Bay, and they're going to have to hope like hell that happens again here tonight because they're almost at the point, too. Lost tonight, and they're almost out. Not mathematically, but boy, oh boy, they are just about right at the edge of the cliff if they lose this game, especially if they lose it in regulation here tonight. Perlo, anything you like here, Lightning, Rangers?
You see a team that can't beat the good teams but do beat the bad teams. There's usually one thing that's the problem, and it is the problem with the New York Rangers. There is no chemistry on that team at all. They fumble around passes all over the place. They can't make a pass to save their life. If you saw that against New Jersey, it was exactly that. They beat the bad teams because you got the Panarins, and they can do like individual efforts and score. He's fantastic. They got the pieces that are good players, but they have no chemistry whatsoever. And you're going up against a Tampa Bay team that has a system that can blow anyone out of the water anytime they want. They ain't winning. The Rangers aren't winning this game. I think Tampa. I went minus 140 and I took them early. I didn't put a lot on it because I don't like the price for all the reasons you said. Tampa Bay on the road, all that kind of stuff like that. I have a little bit on the draw just because maybe the Rangers just actually are hard on a stick and fight that way and be able to take this. That would be the way they do it if they come out and they're hard on the stick against Tampa Bay. But from what I've seen with the chemistry issues here, I think Tampa Bay wins this for sure. I don't, even if the Rangers do get up early, I don't trust their defense worth a darn. And if Tampa Bay does get chasing, it's going to probably be an over in this game as well. It's an over series. So at 5.5, I'm surprised you even can get a 5.5 with the Rangers here. They're going to shut Tampa Bay down. Not a chance. So I'm thinking I'm going to take the over. I got a little bit on Tampa Bay and I'll go with the draw. I can't believe I'm giving New York actually some credit here, but in this spot where it is like the absolute no doubt about it, for sure, season done, they just might come out. Honestly, I can't trust them to take out my garbage, let alone do something in this game, though, to tell you the honest truth.
Now, Columbus was in the system play yesterday. We saw the first period over, but the full game stayed under, as technically New York Rangers are in the system play. But as we know, the system play has crashed post-Four Nations. It was almost unstoppable pre-Four Nations, but it hasn't been the same since then. The first period over, I could see it. Like Alex said, he likes the first period over. Full game, I'm a little bit leery of it. I could see 4-1 Tampa, 3-1 Tampa, something like that. And Vasilevsky, I think, is looking for a good start because I don't think he loves the fact he was on the losing end of that game against Ottawa the last time we saw him in net. So we'll see how he fares here in this one. And plus, he's going to be amped up to play Shesterkin and match wits with a guy that's right up there with him. All right, next up, St. Louis and Winnipeg. It's on Monday. It's only on Prime. This is your Monday night Prime game, St. Louis and Winnipeg on Amazon. Winnipeg minus 180, home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. The Jets still maintaining a lead over Dallas. Got some big-time assistance from Minnesota yesterday with the Wild beating the Stars in overtime, which means the Winnipeg Jets are 3 points up, even in games remaining, even in regulation wins. But the Winnipeg Jets and Dallas Stars do play each other head-to-head one more time. So very interested to see how this plays out in this game. But I have to take Blues and draw split is what I'm going to do here. I don't love it that Winnipeg's coming off the loss at the end of the trip to Utah. I would expect Winnipeg to want to bounce back, and there's still pressure on them to put wins on the board to nail down the first place in the Central Division title. But, you know, this Blues team just beat Colorado twice, you know, in the last week. That's as impressive as it gets. I mean, they beat Colorado in Denver 2-1, place that's tough to win. And then they beat Colorado again 5-4 on Saturday. It's just been they found ways to win consistently. I think this is a very close, competitive game. Very much, I think, like the St. Louis-Winnipeg or St. Louis-Colorado game in Denver was. I do think it could be low scoring. I do agree with that part of it. Do think we could see maybe an under here between these two teams. Not to mention, last time St. Louis went to Canada Life Center in Winnipeg, it was December. They won 4-1. Here in this building. So, like I said, there's a team that's on this incredible win streak. At this price, I'm taking St. Louis plus 160, and I'm putting the draw in there as well because we have seen the Blues play some and don't forget, that Colorado game ended 5-4 on Saturday. That close were the Blues to a third straight draw cashing. It was 2 straight going into that game, almost 3 straight. So, dog and draw split for me in this one, Blues and the draw. Alex, what do you think here, St. Louis, Winnipeg?
Right there with you. I actually grabbed plus 145 with Blues earlier this morning, and then we saw Hofer confirm. Now his numbers moved up to 160. So by all means, go grab the better price. But I just take a smaller sprinkle on the draw as well. But Blues, if they win here, they will be the 13th team in NHL history to win 13 games in a row. I thought that was really interesting. So that was something that drew me to betting it. And like I said, Winnipeg, you know, yes, they're still in the race for the, you know, President's Trophy, in the race for the Central, but how interested will they be in that game? And if St. Louis takes the lead, maybe this is one where, you know, they could just be able to sit on it and kind of coast. This could be a 3-1 kind of a game. So I don't want anything to do with total. I had sprinkle in the draw and heavier on St. Louis money line.
Yeah, no, that's the way I see it. Hofer's in net. I don't mind backing St. Louis with Hofer right now. Hofer's had a solid little run of late. You know, he's won 5 starts in a row. This guy's won during this great 12-game win streak that the Blues are on. He's won each of his last 5 starts entering this outing. So, like I said, he's been playing a little bit better. Hellebuck in net. Winnipeg still got some injuries, too. They got Neil Pionk out on the blue line. Colin Miller's banged up. Nick Ehlers missed the Utah game. He's a game-time decision tonight with a foot injury that he's battling as well. So keep that in mind. So, like I said, this is just I don't care. People could talk themselves into, this got to be a trap that it's plus 160 on a team that's won 12 in a row. You can talk that nonsense, but to me, I never buy into that. Plus 160, like I said, for a team that's won 12 in a row, that's won in this building already, I'm okay taking that. And like I said, I think the draw's live here because it was almost 3 straight games that go to overtime or a shootout with the St. Louis Blues. Perlo, what do you think here, St. Louis, Winnipeg?
Yeah, I actually do think this is a Jet spot, but I mean, I'm cannot fading the Blues. There's just no way. I do like the draw. I like if I might get to the window a little bit on the Jets on the puck line in the first period. I do think they're going to come out hard. Like this seems like a get right spot for the Jets. So I might get a
Jets
little
have
bit
been
on
one
the,
up, one down, and they had their down game against Utah. Is this their
Yeah.
up game? It could be.
and this is one that this is sort of like a measuring stick game, and it's protect your own barn game and all kinds of stuff. You're coming in here, St. Louis, you won 12 in a row. This is kind of the game, like the game the Jets really will get up for, and I think they're going to play. It's going to be a hard game. It's going to be I lean the Jets to win the game, to tell you the honest truth. I can't bet them at minus 180, and I don't want them in regulation, but I will take the draw because the Blues, you can't fade them to come back late. They've been doing it all the time. The only thing about the Blues I will say in this run is they haven't beat too many of the teams that are actually playoff teams, and they've kind of fumbled around with a few teams that have been out of it. Against Colorado, it looks like a great win, but Colorado is in a terrible travel spot. That was 5
They were.
games.
They were. They did feast on that. That's true.
And they just barely got by on that one. So I got a feeling on the Jets here, but I like them in the first period. I'm going to put a little bit on the puck line first period. Actually, I already did put it at a better price than this. At minus 180, I'm not sure I like it as much, but I liked it when it was at a better price earlier than this. I like the draw, and I do really like the under. Because if the Jets are going to dominate St. Louis, it's probably going to be defensively that they will dominate St. Louis. So I like the under 5.5.
This is where we need Jonathan Davis. I don't see him in our chat yet, but this is where we need him to see what Winnipeg's record totals-wise is. Totals-wise, I mean, not win or loss. I'm talking about totals. What are their totals off a loss this year, Winnipeg? I have a feeling they have been more of an under team off a loss. I know Calgary is that way, and Jonathan's pointed that out, that Calgary's been a huge under team off a loss this year. Which is their game, by the way, against San Jose coming up later, which we'll talk about. As far as props go, I have 2 bargain bin specials, by the way, for the card tonight. One of them is from this game, so I'm not going to mention it right now. I will save it until later in the show. But yes, my bargain bin does come from this game. But there's actually some interesting things to point out regarding this game because there's a lot of players in good runs right now. We've got 2-game goal streaks for Buchnevich, Neighbors for St. Louis, Scheifele for Winnipeg, Thomas for St. Louis. They've all scored in multiple games. Zach Bolduc continues to be just under the radar difference maker. 8-game point streak for Robert Thomas, 3-game point streak for Cam Fowler, 2-game streaks for Buchnevich, Neighbors, and the rookie Jimmy Snuggerud with a 2-game point streak. Scheifele with a 2-game point streak. So a lot of goal streaks and point streaks galore for both sides going into that game tonight. All right, Seattle and Los Angeles. We've got LA minus 225 home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. Maybe a little late to the party getting on this trend, and I finally did against Edmonton on Saturday. Kings keeping a clean sheet in the first period. It's been crazy how good it's been. The Kings just putting the clamp down defensively, not giving up a first period goal. They've been spectacular in this situation. That's the only bet I made on this game pregame. I'm going to take Seattle team total under 0.5 in the first period. Basically, Seattle to get blanked in the opening period. Now, I know they scored 5 goals against Vancouver. Vancouver's off a long road trip. They had nothing in the tank that night. We all saw it. Vancouver was dragging ass that night. And they scored 5 in their last game, too, the Kraken, but that was against San Jose, hideous defensive team. So LA going to be a little bit different as far as what they're going to be able to bring defensively. So I will go with that. That's the only bet pregame for me here. Seattle not to score in the first period. And again, you'll get a close to even money price on that. Alex, what do you think here? Kraken and Kings.
Turn that on first. I'm looking at the same thing, but I'm going to go a step further like I did the other day and go with Kings 1-0 correct score plus 410. So grabbing that along with the Seattle under in the first period, I think that's a good look. Like I said, what could happen after that, we don't know, and that's the reason we have live
I don't
betting.
love LA for the game. I just like them to do what they've done, and that's shut you down in the opening period. Yep.
And that's the beauty of it. The beauty of this bet is that it sets us up for a position to where we can, optimally look and see anything to open up in the second period and beyond, which of course that's been fantastic the last few days. That of course was continuing last night. So maybe this is a game that opens up in the second period and beyond. But we'll take those looks with the first period. Kraken team total first period under, and then correct score 1-0 plus 410 for the LA Kings.
And this is all Jonathan Davis on this one. He's the one that was on top of this and mentioned it for sure. So, like I said, LA's just been great, just shutting down the opposition there in the opening period of play. What do you think here? And by the way, LA with Vegas winning last night, they're now 5 back of Vegas. So if this team still has any interest or enthusiasm about overtaking Vegas for first in the Pacific Division, this becomes a pretty big 2 points. You can't squander a game like this against a team you should beat. So we'll see if they're able to take care of business. Perlo, what do you think here? Seattle, LA.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Seattle not to score. I'm going to take it a step further, though. I don't think Seattle scores through this whole game. I think Los Angeles shuts them down through the whole game. If there's one thing that they're going to do is they're going to shut down their opposition. The only thing is it's a little bit of a letdown spot for LA.
Yes, that's the thing I had in the back of my mind, too. The Edmonton game. Now, that was how can you shouldn't be celebrating that. Leon and Connor didn't play. If you're losing your mind, we beat Edmonton, it's going to be a different playoff this year. Calm down. I mean, Connor and Leon didn't play, and they're banged up, and they're resting guys left and right.
But wait a minute.
There shouldn't be an emotional hangover from that. Yeah, go ahead.
But shouldn't that be the way you look at that win? Because of the fact that, hey, we got to play this team again for the 4th straight year in the playoffs. Let's get all the momentum we can fucking get moving forward against these guys. If it means winning a meaningless game with their 2 stars out, gives you enough energy and momentum to where you can take that into game 1 of round 1, then, hey, that may be enough of the difference.
Yep, that's true.
Well, the coach is certainly going to spin it that way. Whether the players are going to buy into it or not, I don't know. But no matter what, I think Seattle might have got a little bit of confidence offensively here. I think they might even be coming in a little overconfident. If they think they're going to do anything like they have in the last 2 games to LA, they got something coming. So I took LA puck line first period. I got a little bit on Seattle team total under. You can get that at -120. I did to not score in the first period. And I'm going to tail that 1-0 as well. That seems like a pretty good spot for LA to come out a little. They're not an over team. They generally don't try to kill their opponents right away. And but I just think Seattle's dead here. I don't think they're going to score over 2 goals in this game.
All right, yeah. Prop wise, Kevin Fiala heating up again for the LA Kings, look, he's had a really good season for them. You got to give him a ton of credit. It's been a nice year for him with the LA Kings and what he's been able to do offensively. 2-game goal streak for him. We got a couple of 2-game goal streaks for Seattle. Andre Burakovsky, Chandler Stevenson going into this game. Point streaks: Kuzmenko on a roll, 4-game point streak. Kempe, 4-game point streak. Fiala, 2-game. Fiala, McCann, Stevenson, Schwartz, Shane Wright, 2-game point streaks. Now, Drew Doughty, a little bit of a remember the ankle injury, what kept him out early in the year, kind of mildly re-aggravated that at the end of the Edmonton game on Saturday. So his status is in doubt for this game tonight, Drew Doughty. So we'll have to see if he's able to suit up. We have Decord confirmed in net for Seattle, but we don't have a confirmation yet for LA. I'm even comfortable if it is Riddick still sticking with this Seattle not to score in the first period, because even he lately has been a little bit better in his recent appearances. All right, next up, we've got Calgary and San Jose. We've got Calgary -210, road favorites, 6 the total here in this one. This is definitely, I want to move on Calgary in some form. I'm just figuring out how to. They're not exactly always a team I'm interested in as far as over 3.5 with their team total. I don't know if I love that. This might be just bite the bullet and take them to win in regulation. Now they have played overtime games. That's the other concern. So it's like, how do you take them? You team total, you're not always assured that they're going to get 4 goals in a game. But at the same time, they've played a lot of overtime hockey lately. I mean, wow, 5 of their last 8 games have gone past regulation. So this might be one where ultimately maybe San Jose can somehow get a lead at some point. We'll bet Calgary live because we know there's no quit in this team, and we know they've had comeback victories in the past. Or maybe you can do some kind like Allen. That's a great thought. Calgary and under 6.5, Calgary and over 4.5. If you want to get the total down to 4.5. Here's the problem with putting the total in a combo bet. because I do think Calgary money line in a combo with the totals. What do you do with the total though? Do you go with the under at 6.5 or the over maybe down at 4.5? Because I'm worried with that San Jose defense. I mean, I really am. I mean, they have not been good. They're banged up. They're missing, of course, still for tonight. Couple of key guys, including, of course, Rian Ruda still, Desharnais, Mark Medulin's out. Toffoli, by the way, out for the San Jose Sharks as well tonight, one of their key veteran forwards. So, like I said, I definitely feel good about Calgary winning this game. It's a goalie edge, big time for them. Georgi Romanov in net for San Jose against our guy, who is great. Terrible, terrible shit luck for the poor kid against Vegas the other night, that overtime goal that went in against him for Dustin Wolf. But obviously he's in net. It's Wolf every game until they're no longer alive in the playoffs. And this is a must for Calgary. They didn't get any help from Dallas yesterday. They are still stuck behind Minnesota by a good margin. We're talking a 6-point gap between them and Minnesota. But Calgary still has 2 games in hand. This is their 1 game in hand, and they do have the head-to-head with Minnesota. They got to win the games in hand. They got to beat Minnesota Friday. All of those things have to happen to give them a chance, but there is still the chance. And until they're out officially, I think you're going to see the effort. So I'm leaning Calgary in some form. I haven't bet it yet, but I'm mulling my options, how to attack backing Calgary in some form. Do I go team total? Do I go in regulation? Or maybe I go -1 puck line pregame, because then I can, if the game goes to overtime by chance and Calgary wins, then we'll just get our money back with the -1. But I'm mulling my options. I'll probably take Calgary in some form. Check the Patreon page later. That's all I can say. I haven't made up my mind how I'm going to go about it. Alex, what do you think here? Calgary, San Jose.
Yeah, it is. This is a fascinating game because, like I said, you're looking at this matchup, and like I said, a humongous goaltending advantage to Calgary here, and that's you wonder. Okay, Calgary under 4.5 plus 425, or
San Jose
Calgary to
team
win
total
and
under.
over.
Could that be a bet? Could that be the way to go?
Right? Could it maybe San Jose team total under? Yeah. So there's a number of ways to look at this. Like I said, yeah, and it's just I don't know. I'm torn on this one as well. I would lean more toward going with the over 4.5 in Flames -115, because Romanov is he's bad, and we know Flames are going to need goals. So
I agree.
That's the thing. I think that might be the way to go about it, and I don't feel comfortable enough with team total. I've seen the real 3.5. I guess maybe that might be the way to do that. 3.5 of the team total split with that Calgary and over 4.5. So as I say, if the team total was 3.5, we're talking about laying 130, 140, then that would be something I might have to move off of. So yeah, so I don't know. This is kind of like I said, a game where maybe I don't know. I'm just as torn apart as you are. We like Calgary to win. There's no good way to bet to back them other than either relying on a 2-1, 3-1 kind of a game for Calgary, which if they're dictating pace, they could easily do. But San Jose is just so bad defensively. Calgary could accidentally get 4 goals on their own. So it's a tough one. Yeah, nothing official yet.
You know what? I'm going to I haven't confirmed this yet, but I'm pretty sure 2 of the bets that I'm going to be interested in here is that first period on the Calgary Flames puck line. I could see them maybe getting ahead in the opening 20 minutes because the one thing about San Jose is I'm starting to look at recent games involving them. They've been pretty bad at falling behind in the opening period, other than the Edmonton game, but Edmonton was in a brutal spot that night. Even Anaheim was up 3-1 on this team after the first period last week. LA was up 2-0 on them after the first period. Rangers were up 2-0 on them in San Jose after the first period. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I like that first period puck line on Calgary. You'll get -0.5 at plus money, upwards of plus 150, and that San Jose team total under. I really do truly think that could hit because Wolf is locked in. Calgary is playing with that, defensive mindset lately. You look at the series history. Flames have won 4 in a row in this series, and in all 4 of those games, San Jose scored 2 or less. And look at San Jose's recent form offensively. 4 of the last 5 losses, they've scored 2 or less. So I'm talking myself into that Sharks team total under 2.5 a little bit.
And the puck line, if you can get, I'm seeing plus 140, plus 145 at that price, that would be worth jumping in early because Calgary should, no matter what happens late, we should see Calgary pressed early and get goals.
Yeah,
at least one. So yeah, so that maybe that'll be the one thing I sign up for too. Calgary first period puck line, and then everything else I can just adjust live.
Yeah, because that's the best value pregame is probably that. It's definitely not in regulation. The -1's not great. It's probably Calgary first period puck line, get the lead. San Jose has been bad at falling behind in the first period lately, aside from the Edmonton game where Edmonton was in that brutal spot. You know, they were coming off the win against Vegas. Remember that? They beat Vegas. They went into San Jose, and that's the only game recently the Sharks have not been trailing after the first period. And then, like I said, 4 of the last 5 Sharks losses, they've scored 2 or less, and in all 4 straight losses head-to-head against Calgary, San Jose has scored 2 or less. So like I said, I'm talking myself more into that Sharks team total under 2.5 tonight. Perlo, what do you think here, Flames Sharks?
Well, you have to ask yourself, how does Calgary lose this game? They're overconfident.
Because it's hockey and anything can happen. That's how.
They're overconfident. It's at the worst here. It's like we saw with the Oilers. It's a handshake deal. Don't blow us out and just take us in regulation. We'll go. There's no way in heck this is going to overtime. Not a chance. Calgary's winning this in regulation, and that's it. I got it at a better price than this. I got Calgary in regulation. No problems. Why? The only thing that concerns me is why is it only -210? Who knows something out there? This should be -280, 290, something like that.
It did open -180 and it has gone up. So the betting markets did agree initially that -180 was too low on this game. Yep.
Yeah, I got in early. I took it in regulation. I am not like you. I love the Calgary first period. Sharks have really struggled. But a team that wants to win against the San Jose Sharks is going to beat the San Jose Sharks. The only way you're losing against the San Jose Sharks is if you really don't care, if you went out drinking heavy the night before, and that isn't going to be happening with Calgary. They are going to believe in themselves, I'm sure, and they want to keep on going. They may get up early and lay off and say, look, we don't want to hurt you. You don't want to hurt me. Then, that I could see that happening. But if Calgary loses this game or ties this game or anything like that, it'll be it can happen, I suppose, in hockey. But anything can happen. We're on a betting mode. So what's value? Value to me is I can't figure out a way that Calgary doesn't do it here, like in a big, big way. So value to me is -110 on that, in that idea, in that concept, in that idea where you can't figure it out. If somebody can help me figure out how, then fine. But I think they actually, I like San Jose in regulation and -0.5, -1.5. As far as I like that San Jose team total under. The only thing I don't like about it, if San Jose or if Calgary does get up, they could lay off too much in the third in San Jose. They don't give up at all, and they could surprise.
That's why you don't put all your eggs in one basket with Easter on the way.
I put a bunch of bets on this. Yeah, I'm looking at Calgary in a whole bunch of different ways. I might even put Calgary because I'm not really big on trusting them to score. But if they play really, really hard, I think they really want to put this away early. Take them maybe to score 2 goals in the first. You probably get pretty decent value on that as well.
Yeah.
Now, all right.
Go ahead. I'll let you.
Oh no, I'll just say it. We spent 10 minutes skewering away at how do we bet Calgary in this spot because Calgary should steamroll San Jose. Let's play devil's advocate for a second and look at this from the Sharks' point of view. They're playing Calgary twice in this week and could completely fucking derail any chance of them getting in the playoffs. Yes. Maybe this is a young team where they haven't had shit to play for it about what I can't remember the last time San Jose played a meaningful game other than an opening night. Right. Maybe these guys would be interested in hey, let's fuck somebody's day up. We're at home. This is a better team, but let's put something together and see if we can spoil the party for Calgary. That's something to keep in mind as well.
If you really think that's going to happen, then Calgary team total lower is the way to go because they're not going to stop scoring if San Jose keeps on coming back at them. Then
there's some truth to that. Yeah, it would keep Calgary, putting the
might be a live look.
Floor, yeah.
If San Jose looks like they're holding their own early, maybe you want to look at that.
The reason why I highlighted the tweet from the Irish King there, Calgary to score, Calgary puck line in the first 10 minutes of the first period. Why I might even dabble in that.
That's
and I think I'll tell you why. because this team was up 1-0 over San Jose. The one previous stop at the tank this year, at the Shark Tank, it was back in December. That game ended 3-1 in favor of Calgary. They led 1-0 after the first period in that game, so that would have cashed the first period puck line. But the goal, it came at the 4:40 mark of the first period, inside the first 5 minutes from Jonathan Huberdeau in that game. So in that game in San Jose back in December, that Calgary first 10 minutes puck line would have cashed. And you got to think, right? This is it. You can't lose this. And after the loss to Vegas, where it was just a horseshit bounce of the puck, let's be honest, horseshit bounce of the puck. This team just comes out and says, you know what? Let's be ready right from the opening puck drop and let's go. So
only in a betting show would we talk this long about this game, but anything you saw in the past, they didn't have they didn't have three of my cousins on defense in those games. They actually had a better defense. Their defense right now is just so diabolically bad that their best effort probably doesn't get much done at all. Like, it's just horrible. So
it's a fascinating game, though, just in the way of how to approach it. But I think I'm sold on the puck line first period of Calgary and the team total under for San Jose more than anything. And I might dabble in that first 5 puck line. First 10 minutes, I should say. First 10 minutes.
So Calgary to score in the first 10 minutes?
No, puck line to actually be leading. After the first 10 minutes.
What's the price on that then?
Is there a big difference? I should check that out. Because
that should be a match, because it's Calgary to score in the first 10 minutes plus 150. Calgary first period or 10-minute puck line should be like something like a 2-1
plus 225. There you go.
Okay, all right, yeah, okay. So then, I get you. Okay.
You know what I'll do? Because again, don't put your eggs in one basket. Don't just bet Calgary first period puck line. Don't just bet San Jose team total under. Don't just bet Calgary in regulation. Instead of just going just first 10 minutes minus a half plus 225, put a little on that and a little on Calgary just to score a goal in the first 10 minutes. Exactly. Yeah. Diversify it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to
diversify your bonds.
Yeah, exactly.
If Alex is right and San Jose's got, this is the game that we can actually compete in and stuff like that. Yeah. If San Jose is going to score, it's probably going to be in the first period as well.
And aren't they giving up a quick early goal? I remember Anaheim just last week, and it was 3-1 Anaheim after the first period. San Jose gave up a goal like before you could blink and sit down and watch that game. It's not like they're not immune to giving up an early goal, San Jose, either, no doubt.
I'm just thinking Calgary's probably knows they can outscore them. And if San Jose is going to be like, okay, you know what, you're not doing this in our barn, they probably could get a goal in the first as well. So over 1.5, probably first period is probably a good look. There's a really good chance Calgary's going to score 2, and San Jose probably will be able to do. Maybe you might be able to do that if they're going to be really up for this game in the first period. So
should be interesting. But like I said, Coronado I like for goal prop tonight for Calgary, and he's been good as far as points as well lately. For them, Blake Coleman on a 2-game point streak for the Flames, Kadri on a 2-game point streak for the Calgary Flames as well. So those are a couple of the props I'm interested in as far as that game is concerned. All right, let's move along to our final game of this Monday card, Edmonton and Anaheim. We've got the Oilers minus 145 road favorites, 6 the total here in this game. The Oilers, of course, they're the Florida of the West right now. Not backable, in my opinion. They aren't right now. They are a team that's declared their intentions. Paul Maurice saying we're resting guys. Chris Knobloch doing the same thing with his team right now. No Draisaitl, no McDavid. Skinner still out. Trent Frederick. They bring him for 1 game to make his Oilers debut against LA Saturday. He's out again. Ekholm is still out. As well for the Edmonton Oilers. So this is clear. Edmonton is not caring one tinker's damn about victories down the stretch. They'll finish where they finish. They'll play who they play in the first round, home or away. Keep everybody healthy. We'll see you in a couple weeks. That's where we're at with Edmonton. Give me Anaheim here. Now, it doesn't mean Anaheim's a shoo-in for anything, because this team was a disaster in the first period defensively against Vancouver, and they can lose to anybody. That was a horrific showing by the Anaheim Ducks. But we know Edmonton's not giving a crap right now, and that's enough for me to take Anaheim here plus 125. And I'm going to do what I did against Vancouver, even though it didn't work out because the team total didn't hit and they didn't win the game. But I will sprinkle with the team total over 2.5 as well for the Anaheim Ducks here in this game tonight. Not to mention, we have a NHL debuting goaltender tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. Obviously, Skinner still out. Calvin Pickard's been worked into the ground, and he needs a rest, and I agree with this decision. So it will be Olivier Rodrigue making the start here for the Edmonton Oilers in this game. And if you look at his numbers, now this is a guy that's obviously gone through the organization here for a while. He was with the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, born out of Saguenay, Quebec is where he's from. He did make an appearance for the Oilers in a relief effort against Seattle back on March 27th, and he stopped 7 of 8 shots. He's played 40 games down in Bakersfield with the Condors in the American Hockey League, and I got to admit, the numbers aren't great. 18, 15, and 7. So 18 and 22, 3.05 goals against average, 899 save percentage for Olivier Rodrigue in Bakersfield in the American Hockey League. So it's not the numbers you want to see out of a guy that's making his NHL debut. Anytime I see someone with that below 900 save percentage, above 3 goals against coming to the NHL, you wonder if they're ready for this moment or if this is just something they're doing out of necessity because Skinner's banged up. Pickard, you can't have him playing this many games right now. He needs a rest, and out of necessity and only out of necessity is Olivier Rodrigue in this position here to make this start. So that's what I'm going to do with this game. Anaheim split between the money line and the team total over 2.5 in this game, which, by the way, with the team total here for Anaheim, you can find it around 2.5 at around minus 135, minus 140, the best price with that right now. You can always wait a couple minutes in game too and maybe get it at a better price if you don't like what you're seeing right now. Alex, what do you think here? Edmonton, Anaheim.
Yeah, Olivier Rodrigue spent 5 years in Bakersfield, and his best season was a couple years ago. He went 19, 12, and 5 with a 2.73 goals against and a 916 save percentage. Those are his best numbers as a professional. This game could get ugly in a hurry. I'm going over trifecta in game. So first period, both teams to score pre-game. First period over in full game, over in game, and then I am on Ducks plus 125 here.
This will be his first NHL start. He's been in an NHL game before because he came into the game in relief against Seattle a few weeks ago in relief of Pickard that night. But he has never started an NHL game before until tonight. And like I said, it's just a difficult spot to put him in because this team is just right now declared that, hey, we just want the playoffs to get here. We'd gladly, with a smile on our face, skip over the rest of the regular season. That is where Edmonton's at. Right now. What do you think here in this one, Perlo? Edmonton, Anaheim.
Yeah, I'm the same as I like the overs. I like the overs for sure on this one. I like Anaheim team total over for sure. I'd even go alt and go to.
I might go overs too. I didn't have the overs on my radar in this game, but boy, Anaheim at times defensively, it's a train wreck. It's a dog's breakfast. I may have to get on overs too because I don't know if they totally shut down Edmonton.
Fading down the stretch too. He seems to be fading down the stretch.
I agree.
So he's been allowing a couple. So I like the over. I like the team total over. I go alt team total over for Anaheim, to tell you the honest truth. I think Anaheim's going to be licking their lips on this one to get some to score against the Oilers, and they will probably do it. And I got a prop that we'll be talking about in a minute in this one as well.
There we go. All right, good stuff. And just quickly on this game, just as far as the prop market is concerned, because now that I think about it, there probably will be some goals here, and I don't know if I trust Anaheim fully to shut down Edmonton. So that the overs in the first period and full, this might be an over by fact to add for me here as well in this game. Troy Terry on a 2-game point streak, Vetrano, Zegras, McTavish, Gauthier. Talked about all of them. Leo Carlson. I think if you just equally sprinkle across those players, you got a chance to hit a few of those here tonight in this game. And look, for Edmonton, I got to bet Adam Henrique. It's 100%. I know people are mentioning that in the chat. Adam Henrique loves scoring against his old teams. It's nuts. It's whether it's New Jersey or Anaheim, his former teams. When he was with Anaheim, he was scoring always against New Jersey. Now he's been with Edmonton, and now he tries to score against both of them, and he's done a good job at doing that. So, yeah, Adam Henrique definitely feels like a night where he could once again score. Corey Perry, in Anaheim, someone mentioned in that maybe his final game there. We'll see. But, yeah, Perry and Henrique, I think, are not bad options for goal props.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah, maybe he one last hurrah in Anaheim here tonight for Scory Perry. Potentially, so I could see that. And the other one I would consider is just because he's finally starting to contribute now with the injuries and the absences is Arvidsson. He scored in 3 of the last 4 games for the Edmonton Oilers, so and playing on the top line, so might look in that direction as well. All right, good stuff, everybody. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. And again, Betcast night coming up tomorrow night. Looking forward to that. Another Patreon exclusive live betcast. And we have 2 this week, Tuesday and Thursday. Cannot wait. Always a great time hanging out with our viewers and our listeners and talking live betting and of the NHL card for the night. So again, make sure you get on board at patreon.com/iceguys. But there it is, Tuesday and Thursday this week. 2 Patreon exclusive live betcasts. To be there and to join us on the betcast, make sure you sign up. $10 per month, patreon.com/iceguys, just $10 per month. Goalie charts, totals charts. You'll find our daily betting card, sides, totals, player props posted each and every day on the Patreon page. Bonus content, access to all of our Patreon exclusive live betcasts coming up. The live betting chat, live group chat as well for all our Patreon members on the Patreon page. So get on board, be there for the betcast this week, and we've got a ton of Patreon betcasts through the playoffs as well. Your $10 per month subscription goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it going long term. So make sure you sign up, $10 per month, patreon.com/iceguys.
Also, check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. You have until midnight tonight Eastern to save 20% on everything in the store. Hit on the redeem button at the homepage, add all your items to your cart. 20% will be available at checkout. So we've got everything in stock. All sizes are restocked as well. New items in the store. We've got all kinds of great stuff. So check that on out. Like I said, save 20% off. It expires at midnight Eastern. That's iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
All right, make sure you check it out there. Get on board with that offer before it expires at the Ice Guy store. All right, we got Bargain Bin Special of the night and Best Bets coming up in just a moment, right after we hear from our great Ice Guy sponsors.
Support for the Ice Guys podcast is provided by Boston Hemp Incorporated, Tailgaters Social, and a big thank you to all that subscribe to the Ice Guys Patreon page.
Hey, Ian, I got to tell you about this app I've been using lately called Kalshi. Kalshi.com. Did you know it's the only place where you can trade on March Madness in all 50 U.S. states?
I have heard about this, actually. Kalshi is the first and only legal prediction market that lets you trade on real-world events with the look and feel of stock trading. Whether it's who will win elections, who will win the Grammy or Oscar awards, or what the price of Bitcoin will hit this year, you can bet you trade on just about anything on Kalshi.
With over 1 million users across all 50 states and over $1 billion worth of trades, Kalshi is an absolute game changer. And with March Madness coming to a close, baseball about to get in the full swing, playoffs on the horizon in hockey and basketball, now's the time to sign up to trade with Kalshi today.
Sign up at kalshi.com/iceguys, and the first 500 traders to join and trade 100 contracts, you will get a free $10 credit added to your account. So don't miss out on all the action. Join Kalshi today at kalshi.com/iceguys. That's kalshi.com/iceguys. Shout out to all our great sponsors, including Boston Hemp Inc. 20% off using the promo code IceGuys at bostonhempinc.com and kalshi.com/IceGuys. Check it out. Great trading platform. More than just sports. Get on board at kalshi.com/IceGuys. All right, bargain bin special of the night. I got two for the bargain bin tonight, even though it is a small Monday night card. Alex, we'll start with you. Bargain bin special.
Yeah, I've been in a little bit of a slump, and this wasn't the best card for me personally, but a game that I do like is St. Louis and Winnipeg. Blues have been rolling hot, and I'm going to take a shot with Jake Neighbors, plus 390 anytime goal scorer. You can get that at FanDuel. I think that's a solid spot, so we go Jake Neighbors, anytime goal scorer. Hopefully you can break the streak for me here, the bargain bin special of the night.
It hasn't happened often, but we have landed on the same bargain bin special. At least you've landed on one of my two.
Okay.
Try three.
Try three.
Oh, all right. Let's go. Let's go.
But I'm not done. I'm not done. I've actually got. But that's not even something because I've been all over Neighbors in the chat for a while now. I've been
right. True.
I've been all over. So I'm going to do two, but I'm going to do them from the same game. There's one kid from Calgary, Alberta. And I love the way he's playing right now. He is playing on fire for the Anaheim Ducks. Owen Zellweger. You can get him for a goal at plus 700. I love that play. And from the same game, his daddy played there. He's going to be feeling it. His dad might even be watching this game. Mac T. I think he's going to get
you must be thinking about Mason McTavish, yeah.
I think he's going to get over 1.5 points in this game, and you can get that at plus 400. One of those should hit. And yeah, I love that Neighbors player. I just love that kid. He's one of my favorite players in the NHL right now. So,
by the way, Craig McTavish is not his dad. I hope you're aware of that.
Oh, I thought he was.
He's not. I was going to say.
Come on, are you kidding me?
Yeah, he's not.
Anyways, I still like Mac T. Anyways, I thought that he was.
They're in relation, though, right?
I'm pretty damn sure there's no relation.
They're related.
Yeah,
that's right. They are related somehow, but it's not. I'm sure they're related.
No, they are not. I was pretty sure all along they are not. And by the way, it's not even spelled the same. It's Mac with an A for Craig.
So it's not.
No A in Mason McTavish, by the way.
Okay, Mason McTavish. I thought he was.
No relation.
I thought there was a relation too, to be honest.
Anyways, the other reason why I like that game is the Oilers are so thin up the middle, and Mac T's been playing. So I'm taking them.
Yeah. Actually, it's McT in this case, with Mason McTavish. Yeah, but close enough. Yeah, but yeah, no relation to Craig.
I got egg in my face. I thought all of them.
All right, so let me get this straight. That's 3 bargain bins for Perlo. Jake Neighbors, St. Louis, and 2 guys from Anaheim. Olin Zellweger at plus 750, and Mason McTavish. Yep. Also for the Anaheim Ducks, quack, 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 at plus let me just see. What if, oh, wait a minute. That's not bargain bin price worthy, Perlo, McTavish.
It isn't? I got plus 400. Never mind that. I'll just go with no one Zellweger. I'll just go with
there you go. Okay, Zellweger and Neighbors. Got it. There you go. We'll give you 2 officially. There we go. All right, my bargain bin special, like I said, I've got 2. The one you already know, won't you be my neighbor? I almost did my jaw dropped when I saw the price. This guy scored in back-to-back games, and he has 3 goals in the last 2 games. I couldn't believe the price. Now, I know they're playing Winnipeg, and Winnipeg can be stingy, and maybe that's part of it, but I'm not passing up plus 400 at BetMGM. for Jake Neighbors to find the back of the net tonight. 3 goals in the last 2 games. Jake Neighbors, St. Louis, plus 400. My first bargain bin special. On my second one, I'm going to Seattle, Los Angeles, and I'm taking Andrei Kuzmenko. This guy is really starting to come into his own, heating up, multi-game point streak, scoring goals as well for this LA Kings team. I believe back-to-back games with a goal for Andrei Kuzmenko entering tonight. Indeed. Actually, no, but he's got goals in 3 of the last 5 games, and he scored in the last game for LA against Edmonton. Plus 300, right on the nose. Andrei Kuzmenko for the LA Kings. That's going to be my second bargain bin special.
I think I see where the mistake was. It wasn't to get a goal. It was for 2 points.
All right, we'll tack that on then. Yeah, there you go. Over 1.5 points at plus 400 for Mason.
Kuzmenko was a good one too.
Yeah, Kuzmenko. He's finally found a place where he's starting to flourish a little bit.
Yeah,
he's still got to work on his defense because it sucks. Let's be honest. But at the same point in time, he's producing right now, and that's what he can do for you. And he's been doing it right now for the LA. And if any team's going to, force him to play some defense, it's going to be the LA Kings.
I think Hiller said, "Look, we got a lot of guys that can play defense here. We don't have time to teach us. Just go out there and do what you do."
National title game, man. Give me Kelvin Sampson and the Houston Cougars, man. I believe their defense. Sometimes it's just time for a coach and time for a program. And I think that miracle comeback against Duke was a sign that it's Houston's time to win a national championship. And I've got futures on both to win anyway, Florida and Houston. But I'm going to add on to Houston tonight because I'm just feeling it with them right now, with their toughness, their physicality, their veterans, their leaders, their defense. It's not like Florida's played a great, crisp game. They've always looked, a little bit, Auburn could have beaten them. Texas Tech should have beaten Florida.
Yeah.
They beat UConn earlier in the tournament, Florida, where they looked a little vulnerable. I think it's Houston's time. So Houston is my pick tonight to win it all.
I lean with Houston as well, but I'm going to tail shout out to Sammy P. He gave out as well earlier today. But Alex Condon, you can get over 7.5 points minus 125. I got 8.5 at plus 110. But either way, I like that. I think he gets.
People said Cooper Flagg was a gamer too, Nick, and now he's home crying. After that game on Saturday.
Yeah.
No, Walter Clayton's sensational. He can single-handedly win this game tonight for Florida. That's how amazing he is. He's going to be an all-star, one of the top NBA guards in the league for many, many years. That's how good he's been. But I just think I love that makeup of that Houston team. They don't get rattled. They don't quit. And like I said, I just love that in them. And look, they played a horseshit game, much of that game against Duke, and they still won. What if they play better tonight? Like I say, right. I think they got at least a solid chance. Florida's great, but I also give them a coaching edge too. Todd Golden and the X's and O's, I don't know, a little spotty for me in my opinion compared to Sampson. And he showed that at the end of the Saturday game. He just didn't know what the fuck to do or to get Duke to settle down at the end of that game. Anyway, there's your basketball for this show. Let's get to best bets. Here we go. Perlo. Sorry, Alex. We'll start with you. Best bets. What do you like?
Yeah, let's go Winnipeg and St. Louis. We'll go with that St. Louis Blues. You can now get plus 158, I'm seeing. Best price available. That's a great number to get for a team that's won 12 in a row against a Jets team that, like you said, been kind of falling out of favor. Maybe, looking toward the greener pastures. St. Louis, they get a win here combined with a regulation loss with the Flames. They're officially in the playoffs. So give me the St. Louis Blues as a dog. That's my Monday best bet.
There you go. St. Louis Blues underdog price for Alex B. Smith with his best bet against Winnipeg. Perlo, best bet.
Yeah, I was coming in and looking at the full game, but you talked me into it. I'm going to go to that Calgary puck line first period. I can't see I can't see them losing that first period. San Jose sucks at first period. That's my best bet for today.
All right, good stuff. My best bet, I like the money line on this team too. Tonight in this game, but I'm going to go with a little bit. I don't know. I'm having PTSD of them giving up 5 goals in 4 minutes to this, Vancouver team on Saturday, like how it just fell apart for them defensively. So I'm going to go with the team total for them. Anaheim Ducks, a team total over 2.5 at minus 138. That way, just score 3 goals, which I think they are capable of doing tonight in this game against a disinterested, shorthanded Edmonton Oilers team So that is what we'll go with for best bet. Anaheim team total over 2.5 minus 138 for my best bet here for this Monday. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Again, Betcast tomorrow. Of course, the regular daily show on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, but then the Betcast tomorrow night, Patreon exclusive. Make sure you sign up. Be there for the Betcast tomorrow. You will not regret it. Patreon.com/IceGuys, just $10 per month. Again, we are definitely looking forward to that Betcast tomorrow night and excited to see how things play out with that. Again, lots of fun, great camaraderie, great company. And again, we've been doing good with the live bets lately on the Betcast as well. So looking forward to that. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith and Perlo, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Monday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. Enjoy the national championship game in the tournament as well. And we will be back with you tomorrow on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, and then the Patreon exclusive live Betcast at night. Join us and be here for a big Tuesday tomorrow right here on the Ice Guys.